Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my comparison of the HTC One versus the Samsung Galaxy S4. Now, I took my cases off the phone to keep them, so there's not like any discrepancies in like size or whatever, but the Slick Wraps case that I did a video on is a pain in the butt to put back on. And so I didn't feel like taking it off to do a review because I probably wouldn't put it all back on there again if I did. So take it for what it's worth. This is the black HTC One, and it has a green Slick Wraps case on it. So take it for what it's worth. Sorry, but if you want to see what the phone looks like without a case on it, all you gotta do is look at my review of the HTC One. I've unboxed both the silver one and the black one. Anyways, let's get to the point of the video. I have both of these on airplane mode because I got a call as I was trying to do this video and it interrupted it. So I put it on airplane mode so I wouldn't get any notifications or calls, and yeah. Let's get started. The one on the right is the Samsung Galaxy S4. And it's running the very latest version of Android, which is 4.2.2, which is something that it does have over the HTC One because the HTC One only has 4.1.2. So that's a plus for the Samsung Galaxy S4. It is currently up to date. Now, there is nothing in the world keeping HTC from updating HTC One to 4.2.2. There was even a leaked Sense build that had 4.2.2, and it had the quick toggles when you pulled it down. Like on the S4, you've got these right here, and you can quickly turn on something, turn on airplane mode by tapping it, turn on Wi-Fi by tapping it. So you can quickly turn stuff on and off just by tapping it. And by long pressing on it, hold on a second, let me cancel this. By long pressing on it, it takes you to the corresponding setting for that thing. So it's pretty nice. I like it. And also you have your quick toggles up here, and you can just go, hey, I want to turn off Bluetooth, and you just tap it. You also have a brightness slider, so you can turn your brightness up and down, or you can choose auto, and it turns the brightness up and down for you. Now, that's something to talk about. The S4 in direct sunlight with the brightness all the way up, you can hardly see the screen. And with the HTC One, you can still see the screen just fine, and it looks great. The Samsung Galaxy S4 has a 5-inch screen, while the HTC One has a 4.7-inch screen. Now, for what the HTC One's lacking in screen size, it's making up for that in PPI, pixels per inch. The HTC One has a higher PPI, meaning you have more pixels per inch, which means you have a higher resolution phone. And look, you do not notice a difference in day-to-day use on, okay, with both phones side by side, yes, you do notice a difference. But in modern day use, if you just have this one in your hand and you're using it for a little bit, you're not going to go, oh man, I missed those 0.2 extra inches that because the Galaxy S4 is 4.99 inches. So it's almost 0.3 inches bigger. But you're not going to notice that in day-to-day use. You're really not. And plus, with a tiny bit smaller screen, you're getting a higher resolution. So take it for what it's worth. One thing to talk about real quick is a comparison of the buttons. With the Galaxy S4, you have a physical home button. It's a solid press, and it takes you home. Long pressing on it launches your recent apps, and you can just press one button to clear them all. And you also have a menu button, so apps like Speed Test or Facebook or whatever that aren't ICS compliant, there's not like a little menu thing at the bottom taking up space on your screen. So that's very nice. And you also have a back button. Long pressing on it brings up your multitasking thing, which is also another feature that the HTC One does not have, but it's a feature that I do not use ever. So take it for what it's worth. Some people may use it, and then you might be one of those people that goes, hey, I'm used to the Note 2, or I'm used to being able to multitask and do two separate things at one time. Then the Galaxy S4 is probably going to be the device for you, because it's the only thing right now that has that. They are looking at bringing that to AOKP. The developers are trying to port it, but it is what it is. On the HTC One, you have two buttons, which is a little frustrating. You just have a back button, and you have a home button. And by double tapping on it, it brings up your recent apps. And you have to do, on each one of them, you have to slide them up to kill them all. So it takes just a second. It's not a big deal, but it would be nice if they had one button to kill everything, like on stock Android or on Samsung's phone, the TouchWiz. By long pressing on the home button, it brings up Google Now, which on here you just hold it down and you tap the little Google icon and there's Google Now. So in respect, I like the button layout on the S4, considering it's nice to have that physical menu button there and not rely on an app to put it wherever they want to put it, or sometimes not included at all, like speedtest.net. Let's show you that real quick. So Facebook, actually, Facebook comes on here, and you have this little menu button right here. Now, let's open up Facebook on here. It's not on the Galaxy S4, but there wouldn't be that little button right there. Speedtest.net's on here, so you don't have a little menu button taking up part of your screen real estate down here, because you actually have a physical menu button. So it's very, very nice. I like it a lot. I do like the button layout on the S4, considering I wish HTC would have included 3 buttons. Like on the EVO Forge LTE, you actually had a little button. This right here, you could turn it into a menu button. It's recent apps, but you can turn it to a menu button, and then you can long press on it to make your, to pull up your recent apps. So yeah, it would have been nice if they would have included 3 buttons. What I would like to see is a menu button, a recent apps button, a home button, and a back button. I still prefer having buttons instead of just, hey, let's include a phone with just 1 button on it. This isn't the damn iPhone. Now, with those complaints set aside, it does not bug me in real world use. In fact, with the rooted device and a custom kernel, you can make the HTC logo an actual menu button. If you've seen my video on how to install CyanogenMod on the HTC One, the middle thing right here is actually a button. So you can press that for menu, or you can actually download like a toolkit, and you can make this a menu button just by long pressing on it. So then you don't have that little physical menu button down there. So with the limitations of the HTC One having less hardware buttons, you can make up for it using custom ROMs. So that's not a complaint really. Okay, one thing I want to show you real quick is the app drawer. On here it's on the right, and on here it's in the middle like it normally is. And you can see how they both vary in their own different ways. With this one, you press that, and then you've got like this, and then finding your widgets, which I'm not even sure how to do that actually. How do you access the widgets? Like on here, it's different. Right here, you just press that for your widgets, and bam, there you go. On the HTC One, you long press on the screen, and your widgets are down here. And you can press that, and you can switch it to shortcut, or you can switch it to apps and drag them across. So let's talk about something else real quick. On the S4, you have 7 home screens. On the HTC One, you have 3. And by default, their little blink feed thing shows up. Now, I'm not a fan of blink feed, so what I do is I just pinch this, and then I take the one I want right here. Like if you wanted to make this one home, you would just hold on it for a second, and you set it as home. Then you can press add panel, and you can add up to 5 total panels. So that's pretty cool. And then you can just remove a panel. I don't need a lot of panels because I use folders. And with folders, you don't need a lot of panels. So you can have up to 5 on the HTC One. Now, that's not a limitation. It really isn't, because you can install Nova Launcher from the Google Play Store. Oh, if I have my Wi-Fi on. But you can install Nova Launcher from the Play Store, and you could have 7 home screens. And you could have an AOSP looking home, like your 5 buttons down here, your phone, and you can change this. Like you can go, oh, I don't use that. I use Google Voice instead. Which I don't have Google Voice installed because I just put... this had CyanogenMod 10.1 on it up until last night because I wanted it to be on stock when I did the video. Yes, both phones are rooted, so rooting does not affect performance at all. What you do with root does affect your performance. You can uninstall system apps, and you can do things to speed your phone up, but it doesn't actually like, oh, your phone's rooted, so it's gonna be faster than stock. No, not at all. Not unless you actually physically do things to cause that, like installing a custom ROM or getting rid of apps you normally can't remove. That's something to consider. The Galaxy S4 comes with so many apps, and it's just kind of insane. You've got S Health, S Memo, S Translator, S Voice, Samsung Apps, Samsung Hub, Samsung Link, Scout, which I've never even used. Whenever you try to pull up navigation, it asks you, do you want to use Google Navigation or do you want to use Scout? Just freaking so much crap on there. And I mean, look at your space. This is kind of insane. Menu settings. Oh, and this is another thing they changed, is you got to figure out where all this stuff is. Once you learn it, it's no big deal. I'm actually getting more used to going, pressing the menu settings more and then about device. So I'm getting used to that. But we'll go here to storage real quick, and then on here, we'll drag this down, press on settings, and then we'll go to storage. Where's storage at? All right, this has a total of 9.5 gigs. Applications are using 0.89 gigabytes of it. So look at that. One weather, just everything's taking up a lot of this. Oh, look, it said it right there. Device memory, 1.6 gigs used, 7.9 gigs free. On here, we'll go to apps. And you can see that we have 7.323 gigs of the 32 being used on the phone storage. And then if you want to make space, you just click make more space. And it gives you a suggestion of 13 apps. And it gives you like the biggest ones at the top, so you can quickly just remove them if you want to. And as you can see, I have 7.33 gigs used of the 32 available. So it's pretty freaking nice. I have 24.67 gigabytes, and I am signed in my Google account. I have all the latest apps. To me, that's plenty of storage. I have enough storage to last me. On here, you have 7.9 gigs free. Yeah, I understand I have Asphalt installed, and that's a pretty big app. So it uses... That's just something you got to consider. If you're getting the Galaxy S4, you're going to have to watch what all you install because it's going to put it on your internal storage. Your external storage, which is expandable up to 64 gigs, is only available for pictures, movies, music, ROMs that you've backed up and installed, etc. So it is very, very nice to have an expandable storage. If the HTC One had expandable storage, that would be one less thing to complain about, and why you would choose one over the other. So it's very nice that the S4 has expandable storage, but if you're someone that installs a lot of apps, you may want to consider a phone that has 25 gigs available for app storage compared to one that has about 8 to 9 gigs after you sign into your Google account and without downloading any apps. So keep that in mind. You have 8 to 9 gigs available on here, you have 25 gigs available on here. And with Dropbox, with both phones, if you take a picture or record a video and you have a Dropbox account, that's automatically uploaded to Dropbox and on the internet. And then you can remove it from your phone and it's on your computer and it's stored in the cloud and you don't have to worry about losing it. So that's something to consider. Available storage is not an issue. And I have little USB OTG cables and I can plug a flash drive into my Galaxy S4 or my HTC One and I can transfer files from the internal storage to my SD card. If I'm doing an Android backup of my ROM, I use a flash drive because when I reset my phone, I don't want it to reset the internal storage and lose my backups. So I like having it on a flash drive because I can then plug the flash drive into the computer, drag the tort folder on my desktop, and I can have my backups saved forever on my computer. So the space is not an issue, and you get more space with the HTC One. You get 32 gigs compared to 16, and about 6 of those gigs are being used up by Android and TouchWiz and all of their bloat. So it's pretty cool. Let's get that messaging thing back real quick. I thought I had Google Voice on this phone, but I don't at the moment. Just drag it right there. And then there you go. I want to talk about cameras real quick, because this is going to be something that might be a deal or no deal for you, like a deal breaker. The Galaxy S3 has a 13 megapixel camera. It does not have image stabilization in the camera. It does in the software, but not in the camera. Meaning it, like in the HTC One, you actually have little springs in there that keep it balanced and you have a less shaky video. On the S4, it's not that way. It uses software to do that, not physical hardware. And you're looking at a 13 megapixel camera compared to a 4 ultra pixel camera. Now, the S4 hands down in a pictures contest wins. The pictures on the S4 are very crisp and oh my god, so full of detail because you have 13 megapixels, more megapixels than the Canon ELPH 330HS. Of course, it still serves a purpose because it has 10 times optical zoom, and you don't have optical zoom on a phone like this. So as far as taking pictures in daylight, if you take a lot of pictures and you don't do any video, then I couldn't tell you not to go with the S4 over that simple feature, because the 13 megapixel camera takes just absolutely ridiculously insane pictures. You take a picture and if you zoom in, all the detail is still there. With the HTC One, if you zoom in, you are going to see some sharp edges and it's going to lose, that battle very quickly. Now, what it does have is both of these phones have 1080p front and back facing cameras. And the HTC One has built-in image stabilization in the camera itself, not just the software. And this is a wide angle lens on the back and a wide angle lens on the front. So what that means is, if I turn my camera on, let me do that real quick. Alright, so I got this on, and let me turn this camera on and switch it to the back. Someone said you can, oh yeah, okay. So you can just like go down for the back camera and swipe up for the, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that until someone put it in my comments. Oh, come on. Alright, so there you go. There's both the cameras, and as you can see, hold on. Can you get, this is hard to do. Damn it. The HTC One has a wide angle lens. You get more in the shot compared to with the S4, you've got to have it further away from you. And with HTC One, you can have it closer to get more in the shot. And the HTC One has a 2.1 megapixel camera in the front. 2.1 megapixels in the front camera. So with this one, you have 2.0. No, that's not a huge deal. It really isn't. You're probably not going to notice a big difference between 0.1 megapixels. But considering the fact that it's wide angle, I have front-facing camera tests on both the S4 and the HTC One. Just go to my channel and look at my most recent videos. Seriously. I've done, uploaded it directly from the camera to the phone to YouTube from the app on the phone on both of these. So no editing, no compression, nothing. Just straight raw video from both phones if you want to check them out. I'll even put links to them in the description. I'll try to remember to. So with the HTC One, you have a 2.1 megapixel wide angle lens, and on here you have a 2.0 non-wide angle lens. And on here you have a 4 ultra pixel wide angle lens, and you have a 13 megapixel non-wide angle lens. So I do a lot of front-facing camera videos. So for me, the HTC One is the better of the two. So just take it for what it's worth. If you do a lot of pictures in daylight, then this would probably be the phone for you. Because hands down, if you're wanting to carry a phone and not a camera separately, you're going to want to go with the S4. That's just completely honest. Now, if you're a video guy and you do mostly videos like me, I rarely ever take pictures, the HTC One. Now, the other day I posted a picture on Twitter, and I was trying to use my S4, but you couldn't really see very well because it was low light, and it just looked bad. I pointed my HTC One at my Galaxy Note 2 while it was in recovery, and it was dark, and it pulled up that picture perfectly. That's something that the HTC One wins hands down. That 4 ultra pixel brings in a lot of light. If you need to record something and you find yourself in an area with no light at all, the HTC One's going to be able to pick it up and record it and focus on things. With the S4, it's going to look super grainy, super dark, and you're not even going to be able to tell what you're looking at. So if you're someone that finds yourself in broad daylight and you take a lot of pictures, way more than videos, I would go with the S4. If you're someone that finds yourself that doesn't have direct sunlight or like a lot of light from a lamp or something, if you find yourself in low light situations a lot and you take a lot of pictures, go with the HTC One, because when you take a picture with both phones in low light, you're going to be able to see it very clearly on the HTC One, and you're not going to on the S4. It's just that simple. You're not going to. Both phones are about as thick, as you can see right here. There's no huge, like, one doesn't win over the other. They're both about the same exact size as far as, like, if one's bigger than the other. So there you go. They're about both the same size. Okay, I don't want to make this video, like, very, very long, because I tend to do that. I want to keep it kind of short. Well, not short, but I don't want to make it ridiculously long. Okay, I got to say, now, I'm not biased at all. I love my Note 2. In fact, I'm actually going to activate it later today because I'm going on a trip soon, and I'm going to be gone for a couple days. Anyways, I don't care. I'm not like, oh, I like HTC better than Samsung. I am not. I'm going to be honest with you. The S4 has some pretty amazing features to it. Okay, you got this little hover thing, which to me is gimmicky. I'm not going to use it. I don't care. In fact, as soon as CyanogenMod's available for this device, I'm going to install it on this phone. It's just that simple. I'm going to. And I'm going to lose all those features because CyanogenMod is AOSP Android. So, let's talk about something real quick. On the camera, you have a pretty amazing feature, And if you're subscribed to my Josh is Nice channel, which links to that channel has been in the description forever now, you saw a video I posted of Xbox Reveal. This is pretty freaking awesome. You press this little button right here, and it records with the back cam. Well, I can switch it around. And now see, that little one right here, this little thing, is actually picking up the front camera, and this is the back camera. So you can record your reaction. Like, people can see your reaction to what you're recording and see, you know, your face and stuff. Or like if you're driving, like Smoking Android posted a video of him driving around, and with the front camera, it was able to capture what, you know, him. So you can just take this, and it's a little, come on. Why won't you do it? Expand. There we go. So you can expand it and even make it a little bit bigger. So, and then when you press this, now the front camera is the big part and the back camera is the little part. And it's pretty cool. I like it. It really is awesome. And I can definitely see uses for it. So as far as like Samsung exclusive features like this, hands down, this has the most features available. And both phones have independent picture and video buttons, meaning you can start recording and then you can pause the recording and press record again, and then you can stop recording, and while you're recording you can take a picture, and you can, instead of like switching modes from camera to video, it's just both of them are right there. So like you just, okay, I'm gonna take a video, okay, I'm gonna take a picture, okay, I'm going to, you don't have to, with AOSP you have a little button, you have to switch between camera and video mode. So it's pretty freaking awesome. I like it a lot. And I'm not gonna lie, there's some things about this device that are pretty freaking awesome. But the moment you flash an AOSP ROM or a different ROM on there that's not TouchWiz based, you're out of luck. That's something, like, I don't want to be someone that has to have a Samsung device because I rely on being able to have Twitter open right here and YouTube open right here and use both of these independently. Like, I'm not, that's not me. I'm not the kind of person that gets used to that. Like this, for example, you can actually take this and you can move your, well, I don't have it enabled, but you can actually like move, when you move it like that, it'll move the icons to the right. You can do that to move to the left. It's in motion. You have to enable it. I don't know how to actually. It's actually right here under, you go to menu, settings, you go to my device, and then you do motion and gestures. And there's so many options. Smart alert, catch missed calls, messages, direct call. So if you're chatting with someone with your messaging app, you can just put the phone to your ear and it calls them. Mute incoming calls and pause playing sounds on the screen on. Browse an image. Zoom. Palm motion. Capture screen so you can like swipe across. If it works. Okay. Whatever. See, it's just, I don't want to rely on crap like that sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. Air jump, air browse, air call accept, air move. You have to have a Samsung device to get this stuff. That's why I refuse, even with Sense, if I have to have Sense in order to have a feature, I don't use it. I don't. Because the moment I flash an AOSP ROM, the moment I lose all that. So I don't care like about all the little exclusive things that each phone has. Sense has some things that Samsung doesn't, and Samsung has some things that HTC doesn't. Okay, with the S4, you can take the battery out. It's 2600 milliamp hours. With the HTC One, it is 2300. So it's a little bit bigger, but in day-to-day use, I've actually gotten better battery life out of my HTC One on stock than my S4 on stock. That is the honest to God truth, and watch any comparison video out there. When it comes to battery life, both devices are about even with each other. The HTC One might last a couple more hours, the S4 might last a couple more hours. So both devices have their ups and downs, and if you don't have an extended battery or extra batteries laying around, there's no reason for you to care which one has removable battery and which one doesn't. Because if you don't have extra batteries or extended battery, it's not doing you any good to have removable battery. So that's another plus with the S4. I have extended batteries from a Note 2, and it's very nice. That's why I'm going to be activating it, so I can slap my Mugen extended battery on it and have 2-3 days of battery life, maybe even more with the custom ROM that's on it now. So the battery life, both phones, very comparable. And with the HTC One, since it doesn't have the removable back, you've got a sick design, a beautiful phone. And I know the case for some people is ruining it, but I like it. Anyways, the HTC One is a solid build phone. No issues there. The S4 is a plastic phone, and it's, in all reality, from the S3, it has a better camera and a faster processor. That's about it. Oh, and a bunch of Samsung apps thrown on top of Android 4.2.2. So there you go. If you have an S3, the S4, to me, is just a slight upgrade. If you're just someone that browses Facebook, plays a few games, and does little things here and there, that quad core is not going to do you any extra good compared to the dual core that's in S3 right now. The S3, the S4, and HTC One all have 2 gigs of RAM. So take it for what it's worth. Now, I'm going to wrap this up. If I missed anything important, that's my fault, because I do things on the fly. One day I will have scripts and I will record, and then like I don't know if people like MKBHD and JG and Root, I don't know if they record audio and then they, like, while they're holding it, they know what they're going to be saying in their head, so they know how long to have the phone up before they switch it to another scene. Like, I'm going to learn, and my reviews are going to get better, I promise. But for now, this is just a on-the-fly comparison of these two phones. You can't go wrong with either phone. If again, I'm not going to say it too many times. If you're someone that has been using the Hero and then the Evo and then the Evo 3D and the Evo 4 LTE and you're probably going to want to go with Sense, because you're used to Sense. You like Sense. So you're probably going to want to go with the HTC One. If you're someone that's had the Galaxy S2, the Galaxy S3, and then or the Galaxy Note 2, and now you're upgrading to the S4, you're probably going to want to go with this, because you might be someone that's used to taking screenshots with your palm, which, as you saw, wasn't even working for me. Being able to hold this and tilt the phone to switch apps from different pages without pressing on an app, waiting a second for the next screen to show up, and then transfer to that screen. Being able to pick a phone up and know you did that. There are a bunch of awesome exclusive features that I haven't enabled. I have not changed anything on this phone at all. When you get your phone from the Sprint store, that's exactly how this is, as far as all the extra Samsung crap on top of it. So take it for what it's worth. When it comes to which phone, for my preference and my needs, I need a phone with more than 8 gigs of storage available. 25 gigs almost available storage to install apps like Asphalt and Batman and all those apps that are like a gig or more. Well, you install, 5 games that are a gig or more on here, and you're out of space and you have no more room for apps. On here, you still got another 20 gigs left. As far as space-wise, the HTC One wins it for me, because if I need to transfer any huge files, or if I need to do an Android backup, I just grab my flash drive and plug it into the bottom of my phone. No big deal at all to me. And I prefer, even with the S4, I still do that. I still put my flash drive in there and transfer my Android backups and my ROMs to it, just because it's faster to transfer a ROM to a flash drive, hook it up to the bottom of your phone, and be on your way. Same thing with an Android backup. And if something happens and you accidentally wipe your phone, you've got your Android backup stored on a different location than your phone. So storage-wise, to me, the HTC One wins. As far as camera-wise, I don't do a lot of pictures, and I find myself in situations, like right now I have 1200 watt lamps shining light on this video, so it can be a nice clean video. If I'm in a situation where I don't have that kind of light, this phone is going to do video way better than this phone. It's just going to. It works much better in low light situations than the S4 does. And one thing that I didn't even cover is when you lay the phone down on the table, you're covering that speaker up. It's got a little bit of a little nipple, when you lay it down, you got a tiny little thing, but when you get a notification, you're going to get just a little bit of that sound. On the HTC One, you've got a left speaker right here and a right speaker right here. So when you are watching a video and a car is driving from the left to the right, you're actually going to be able to follow it with the noise and hear it going back and forth. I had this phone first, and then I got this phone. And then when I get this phone, I find myself going back to the old me, where I used to do this while watching a video or listening to music or something. Or listening to music, you can just flip it down like that and you can get the sound to come at you, not a big deal. But with the movie and you're trying to watch what's on the screen, you find yourself cupping your back of your phone trying to get that sound to direct towards you. So I felt like I was taking a step down going from this phone to this phone. And that's my honest opinion. I'm not being biased. I love Samsung and I love HTC. In fact, the S3 over the Evo 4 LTE, the S3 won hands down in pretty much every aspect except build quality. So I'm by no means a fanboy. When the Note 3 comes out, I'll have an unboxing, a review, a how to root, how to install ROMs. I'll have all kinds of videos on that phone. And that will probably be my daily phone. Now, these front speakers. On my Josh's Nice channel, I also had a video playing music with the front speakers. I can't put music on it because then I'll get flagged for copyright and whatever. So I can't play music and I don't know of any royalty-free music, and then even still you gotta provide where you got it from. But the front facing speakers on this are absolutely amazing. And plus I'm using a shotgun mic. If I was to play the audio, it wouldn't sound that awesome unless I switched my shotgun mic around towards the camera. Then you wouldn't hear me, you'd only hear the phone. Anyways, as far as watching videos, the sound is coming right at you. You don't, no more of this cupping your phone. When you lay your phone down, you get to see your little notification light up here, and you get to hear the sound coming from the speaker. And with this, you had to flip your phone down like that to hear the notification from the speaker. So as far as sound and watching videos, I refuse to use this device. If I'm gonna watch a video, I'm gonna put this down, pick this one up, and use this instead. If I'm going to take a picture in broad daylight, I'm going to pick this phone up and use this one instead. If I'm myself in low light, I'm going to pick this phone up and use it instead. If I'm going to do a front-facing camera video, I'm going to use this wide-angle lens over this non-wide-angle lens any day. So as far as battery life and the extra storage and the better front-facing camera and the build quality and everything about this phone, I am personally going with HTC One. If you're not a video guy, again, and if you take a lot of pictures and you find yourself in constant light all the time, the S4 might be the phone for you. I'm not bashing anybody that likes the S4 over the HTC One, but the average person behind the computer leaving comments, they have this phone. All they know is what other people have said and the specs on paper in front of them. That's all they have on the HTC One. They don't physically have it. They're not able to play music on it, watch YouTube videos on it, and listen to how awesome the speakers on the front and how big of a difference it makes. If the Note 3 has a speaker in the back, I might still find myself reaching for this phone to watch a YouTube video. It's just that simple. But when I need to take a picture, I'm going to find myself reaching for this phone if it's in daylight. If it's not in daylight, then I'll of course use this one because the picture will show up fuzzy, grainy, etc., and you'll hardly be able to see what you're looking at. So as far as my opinion on both phones, I'm going with the HTC One hands down. I'm going to hand this phone to my wife so she can stop using the S3 and have this phone for herself, since she's not a video person. She's a picture person. She takes a lot of pictures. So someone like her, I can definitely recommend this phone to. She's going to be able to install a few apps that are big, and then she's going to find herself running out of space and needing to uninstall an app, while I can install all the apps I want because I have 25 gigs compared to her 9 gig or 8 gigs or whatever. So I'm not drawing this video out any longer. Both phones have their ups and their downs, but for me and my personal use, and the moment we have a monthly series of CyanogenMod that's stable enough for everyday use, I'm going to install it on this phone and this phone. I'm going to install the same exact ROM on both phones. Of course, you got to wait for them to release an S4 official CyanogenMod before you can do it, but because you can't install the same exact ROM on both phones, but you get what I mean. They'll both be on AOSP Android 4.2.2, and all of the exclusive air this and motion this and air that and motion that, all that'll be gone. And all the Sense features, those will all be gone, and you'll be left with AOSP Android, which is what I prefer. Anyways, I'm done. I'm not drawing this video out any longer than I have to. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you're a Samsung fanboy, I don't care. If you're an HTC fanboy, I don't care. I'm going to use whatever phone works for my needs more. The Note 3, all of my needs were met. It had the best overall sound quality from the front and back camera, and it was 720p in the front and 1080p in the back. So it served my needs more than any other phone available. The Note 2 did. And now I like the HTC One the most. I'm only activating my Note 2 simply because I have a 6,400 milliamp extended battery, and I'm going to be rocking that. It's going to last me 3 or 4 days on one single charge, which is what I need because I'll probably be gone that long. I'm done. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please click the like button on the bottom left. It lets me know you enjoyed the video and you want to see more videos like this. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, because the moment the Note 3 becomes available for pre-order, I'll pre-order it and I'll have it day one in an unboxing, how to root, everything. I've got more videos coming. If you watched my latest how to root MDL video, that whole process is obsolete. There is a brand new method that's super simple, and I'll do an updated root video next week, early next week. So stay on the lookout for that. So videos of both of these phones will come very frequently. This is gonna be my wife's phone, so if CyanogenMod or AOKB or something big happens, then I'll do it. Simply because this will be her device, and I can't say, hey, let me install this broken ROM on your phone. You won't be able to use your camera. Your 4G won't work. I can't do that. And plus, she has all her apps and she customizes her phone, and she doesn't want to have to reset it every couple days every time there's a new ROM on it. So HTC One videos will come much more often than the S4 videos. But if you have an S3, you're in luck, because that device will be sitting on my table next to my Evo 4 LTE, and I will be able to do videos on it whenever I need to. In fact, there are several videos on the S3 that I'll be doing very soon, now that I've gotten most of my videos on the HTC One and the S4 out of the way. So please subscribe for many more videos to come. This is What Would Josh Do, and I'm out.